Okay, I see that the camera is actually working correctly. I'm happy about that. Hopefully this is gonna be a good stream. I hope you like it. As usual, I wanna keep going with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time I didn't because, well, it was late, I was way too tired, and I didn't knew that I was not gonna be able to concentrate that much. Though we played a little bit of Sonic. So this time, we're gonna go back into the action. I have to admit that I cannot remember exactly where we left, so I'm gonna have to catch on to whatever is going on. So anyway, hope you like what you see. For now, let's try to remember. Okay, yeah, I just remember. So Sholmes did solve the mystery of the wax statue that was stolen. Last time, if I remember correctly, we finished the case. Hey, Zach, how you doing today? So, last time, we discovered that Enoch Trevor, an engineer magician guy, might have been the reason behind the death of Odie Asman, after it was discovered that he was in the scene. Hi Alexis, how you doing? Oh well, actually I just realized that Sean solved the case of the missing wax statue, but he hasn't actually explained that much about it. Well, you remember how I solved anyway, simply negotiated with... Maybe I can reopen the conversation, I hope it is. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing. Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in an event. Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? The fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame the spells at all costs. That makes sense. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Okay, that was kinda chaotic, but let me try to remember. So, according to the conversation, Sean's solved the case. So let's see what's in here. You have the statue anywhere? No, it's still behind the curtain. Okay, I think I'm gonna go and talk with Jones. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh? Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Trevor. He's the swindler who killed Professor Hairbrain and the engineer who built the Kinesis machine. Oh, sorry, Zach, I cannot go and feed Iris yet. I don't think that we have won any money as of now. A swindler and an engineer. Quite a modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? Oh right, we also gave something to Gina so that the little dog could track down Enoch Trevor, because apparently she has a new dog that is able to track by smell. And we also met Kearney Scythe, which is the coroner of Scotland Yard. She also seemed to have a daughter, but I don't know that much about her. But some people are apparently excited that I get to know her daughter. Thank you, Zach! Toby the dog. So now we have among the pets in Ace Attorney, Polly, Missile, Chew, Toby. Orla? I guess at this point we can also include, oh god, I forgot the name of the birds in Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. But they're there. We have a lot of pets in here. We do have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. Also, Wagahai, the cat. If I knew something of the man's appearance at least, I may be in a better position to help. Yes, Trevor's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it. I don't remember if the ballerina cat was named. I think it was, though. And now the big mystery. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay at that piercing stare. What is this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain at board the steamship, your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed. And wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asuke. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I am quite sure. It was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. So we're already assuming that he is the guy with the mask. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I can only assume that I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere at the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all? I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruto? I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you. Not you, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, I would never deny her logic. But I do know of particular someone that is always calling me out for making assumptions. So yeah. I will not tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. You know about him, don't you? Why are you lying to me? I have your freaking hat in my picture! Mr. Sholmes, you got your eyes over this photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Trevor, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. Come on! You cannot be racist against your own race, I guess. So looking at the photograph won't be Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, forgive me. Very interesting this. Very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. He immediately went white. I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruto. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? As explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. And I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yes. The Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand? What? It's gonna be him, isn't it? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh! Well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone? The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it's well worth it. I mean, he's quite abusive after all, Zack. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to certain if this is a seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you, that's the point. Very well, that couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. You paid, girl? Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. Why am I scared? What are we about to discover? Well, the money is being spent. So let's go and see the special exhibit. Oh, go bye, Zack. It was a good thing to see that you were watching. It's still a good amount of support from my friends. Well, the money's being spent, so let's go and see the civil exhibit. It's gonna be him. Through those heavy curtains at last. I'm scared. I actually am scared about this. So what about you? He's gone back to his waxwork. Oh yes! Mr. Sholmes is renowned as being a master of disguise, you know. Was pretending to be a waxwork count as a disguise. I kinda got scared for a moment there. I think I should silence my notifications just in case. 5 shillings we have to pay. Doesn't seem right that somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it? No. We can ask Gina to retrieve it for us. Using her special skills. Like pocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what we pretend? Great. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or cheap, loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. I kinda almost bit my tongue there, but it was funny. Here we go. Whoa! That's very scary. Oh dear! I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Mr. Sato! I say we turn on our heels and go straight home via a really big confectionery. We certainly can do that. We paid 5 shillings already. True. Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The name of the great deadly detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Be that as it may. Ooh, what is this music? This is a good theme. I like it. Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineering here, didn't he? But where? I guess since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we will get what we paid for.
Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? I kinda wanna watch that. Doesn't matter if they're here in Britain or in Japan. Graveyards are scary.
Now I come to think of it, this is the first time I've seen a British grave. According to what I've read, the custom in Britain is to bury the dead as they are, without cremation.
What? But if you do that, you might accidentally bury people while they're still alive!
I'm not sure that would be worse than accidentally incinerating people while they're still alive.
I think we can both agree that it's best not to be still alive when our time comes then.
And what am I to say to that? This must be the killer! The thing known as the Professor!
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Duspel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble and royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place!
I know. It looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. The head. So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a big guillotine, but unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Mr. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's no metal filling for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Shong's absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it?
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum?
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head was in return? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh? There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. Wait. Broken glass. Oh my god! It looks like a piece of broken glass. And quite a big piece too. I think I can see where this is going. It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength.
Interesting. Very interesting. But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example.
Well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken too.
You don't mean...
Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Great Crystal Tower be lodged inside the waxwork's jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it? It's obvious, for me at least, that this model was actually taking place of one of the 2 ODS-men at the event. But, since we already have a corpse, this is the part that actually makes me confused. We saw the guy walk, and then we saw him appear. But if he died in the accident, then this guy here, the wax model, was the one that was used for the trick. And ODS man died in another moment. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Earlier in core, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. Now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. It cannot be a coincidence. I'm not even gonna say it correctly because that is very dumb of a thing to say, Ryonosuke. Seriously. It's definitely that one. Let's see if I can examine it from around. Oh. Ooh, this is thick! This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is white.
Yes, I've never seen anything like it.
If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such thick skin.
There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know.
Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower. Surely?
Yes, I think so too. It was probably made specially to meet the demands of that great structure.
And I don't think there's anything else. Let me double check something. Ooh! Oh, I got a message, but no, it was not for me. Okay, sorry. Let's keep going. And I'm starting to think that I know what is gonna be the... let me guess.
This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
Ooh. Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand too. Oh, sorry.
And he has a large shovel in his hand too, look.
Perhaps we should investigate in a little more detail. We're about to turn around and it's gonna be him, isn't him? Shovel. Gracias. Gracias, Perry.
What a large shovel! He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he? What on earth was the man doing with a shovel in a graveyard in the middle of the night?
Mrs. Sato? I mean... El juego está en inglés. Podría tratar de leerlo en español, pero sería traducir al mismo tiempo. Es algo difícil. Luego lo trataré de jugar en español, te prometo. ¿Se puede? Mrs. Sato?
Yes?
That's a spade, isn't it?
No, it's a shovel.
No. Shovels are for digging. That's for scooping loose material. It's a spade.
We've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel.
No. Although, we haven't considered trowels.
We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So, we're going to bury the hatchet? You're right, though. What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's a real question. Okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can change the language. I guess I cannot do it here. Okay, let's go back in this. A camera. What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera? But it's so small! British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' invasion as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film.
We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think.
Wait, we're taking the camera?
By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken.
What's a photographic plate?
It's It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens.
Okay, Susato, I am from the modern world. And I'm supposed to be a smart guy, and even I did not understand that. Now I feel bad.
If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see it yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? This is what I was fearing. I can see his face very well, can't you?
Perhaps if I just... Oh, did you think you should be my handling that exhibit, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Okay, before this. Camera.
What a wonderful machine!
What the heck is that? That's blood.
What a wonderful machine!
You really love contractions like this, don't you?
Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible.
Almost irresistible, surely.
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's giving up having a watch.
Poor Professor Mikotoba. Oh look, the cover came open.
Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, see?
Is something wrong?
There is no plate. It's been removed.
What a pity, but I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. They would never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated. And now the big elephant in the room. Blood.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
What is it?
On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually.
Oh! Oh my!
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Oh god, no. It definitely is blood. It definitely is blood.
What on earth? How can...
It's not the same guy, but I mean, he still has the monocular?
What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it! A black monocle! So it's actually said monocle, okay.
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is...
Yes! It's Enoch Trevor! The color of his hair is different, but... You're scared too, aren't you? It's so unmistakably him! I imagined that it was gonna be him, but the hair... Indeed it is. Hi, Jones. Mr. Jones! This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in the exhibit? Why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise! So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, to the suit as Madame would say, or I'll be in great trouble. A very hungry Iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ah!
Do you know, though, something about this room is strange.
Strange? What do you mean?
Well, the displays in this house of horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mr. Sato. Do go on.
And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one,
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
this surely could never really have happened. Could it?
I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. About time, Sholmes. Before that, what do you know about this camera? Mr. Sholmes, about this. As you will see, I'm rather busy at the moment. Let us by just see, come to my office tomorrow, and I shall be happy to help you. Shall we say, droppings per item as a consultation fee? That's 2 hours of gas, that is. So you knew about this piece of broken glass? Okay, no, you didn't. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royal. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh, gosh! An enormous hound? How awful!
After taking... Oh, oops. Oops. Mouse. Obey. There it is. Ooh. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand, accordingly. The professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. Closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh!
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Wait, what? Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat, so Enoch Trevor. So it happened? So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Trevor. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of the night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying! Scared out of his wits, the young Trevor ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page of the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tussauds.
I can't quite understand why the man's white hair turned white. Certainly. But what I don't understand...
What he was doing here?
It's what Mr. Trevor was doing in the first place.
Knew it!
In a lonely graveyard, in the middle of the night.
Yes! What was he up to?
professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest level of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder.
The Hound of Baskervilles?
Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated.
That means calm down.
So too did talk of the shocking witness account of this convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, just dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of. This was established in fact.
What do you mean by no resurrection?
The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No! But that would mean Mr. Trevor must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation. Yes, the young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking then that he should resurface now, don't you think?
Of course a convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life, that's not possible!
But Trevor's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Ah!
Oh, Gina.
Ah! What the bloody Nora! What have you gone undone? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris and she said this is where you'd be, so... Gina, that's so loud in the museum! But then two spells will help you take a position as a Whisperer if you're not careful.
I think there might be a more pressing concern.
I still had some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun!
What the heck? Was she so angry?
Sorry, I got scared.
You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel.
So what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it! We found the dodgy cop's workshop!
What? You found Trevor's workshop? Hey, Perry, if you're there, you're gonna like this character that is on the screen right now. And I don't mean the girl.
What? You found Trevor's workshop?
Yep.
Tommy's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on! Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. Will we make our way there at once? Alright then, see you there!
Aww, Tommy's experience was so short.
You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here. Being still.
You have to work as a statue after all.
I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear. Someone is feeling sorry for himself.
Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming.
Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to share my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris Dinner's plate would be empty once more. Forget that! I'll pay for everything! Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow! I shall hail a carriage at once!
No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then?
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Right, let's go. This is really his lab. That looks like...
It's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine!
Indeed it would appear so, but only a prototype naturally.
Oh, so you got there then? Gina, well done for finding this place! And in such a little time, you've really worked miracles! It's Tubby here who's the miracle worker.
You know what? Picture. I love him. I love this dog. Oh my god! I thought your lot would show up before long. Oh, hello, Inspector. That's one native. Wow, is he allergic to dogs? He looked like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish or chips.
So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Sadly not. I didn't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us a chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris with a letter of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
Thank you.
Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Ben 6 and the forensic investigation teams are on their way here as we speak. Them again. I imagine you got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types.
Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down while we have the chance.
And you, Shawns?
Pardon?
They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do lawyers.
Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model.
Right then, let's see what we can find in here. A bow. I mean, this is... It's an European style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. That's a typo.
Did you suppose?
Crossbow bolts, this. Just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition ground. In other words... That's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Trevor was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. There it is! What is in that room? This door doesn't want to open.
Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the job, so hands off till he gets here.
With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute.
Well, you don't have a permission, and no one's giving it to you. Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed doing that.
Well, there's no sound of anybody on their side.
No, Trevor must have fled at the first sign of danger.
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, that machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government.
Oh my god, I love these characters. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back.
It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change drop on the floor or nothing. Not even a bone for Tubby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
I think that's just this tune, Miss Susato. Ooh, a little plane. What on earth is this?
An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies.
Is that how the trick will be described? Is it?
Sorry?
Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it?
Oh, well, this model is, yes. But a real aeroplane would actually fly high in the sky.
While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can really stay in midair unsupported.
So, to you the solution is, Evertaler Towers? Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say?
It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away.
It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Would you like a massage?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Trevor than conjuring tricks.
I couldn't agree more, my dear madam.
And how about you, Mr. Naruto? Wouldn't you like to take it with you?
For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? Oh, perfect! Jones is Ryunosuke Sperry.
It's curious though, isn't it? I'd expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly haphazardly.
Wow, that's a very weird word.
Haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times.
Oh! I wanted to talk with...
Oh?
Something wrong, Mrs. Aro?
Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too?
Yeah, I heard it and all.
What you reckon, Toby?
Oh god, I love this little doggy. Right, mind the grace. Whoever's in there, open up! This is Scotland Yard! Was that a horse? What's going on here?
Oh my! Someone is in there!
Ah! This rotten bloody lock!
My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock the door in less than a minute.
Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door!
There, you may enter it at will. You confuse minutes with seconds, I think! Let me of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for?
Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency.
There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. You prepare for action, my dear fellow? Yes.
Wait, what the heck? What's that thing on the corner? Those shoe prints in the ceiling.
What's happening here? Why is everything upside down?
Wait a minute, what is that in the middle of the room?
Rats! There are no one in here after all! But there must be! It was only moments ago that we heard those noises!
Maybe that was the sound of Trevor running away.
But there's only one door into this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high.
What's that up there? Are they footprints? On the ceiling?
Romy, what do we have here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what?
To that Professor Caveman's burning machine, is it? Blimey, if it had this, there had been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal.
There's something of great interest here too. The bomb? This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of the pillar. A rope? What's so significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrived too. You already saw this, didn't you? Okay, let's go back for a moment here. Because I wanna keep watching here. Oh, it's just so that we could watch the whole machine? Really? Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's no denying it, is it? They're footprints.
Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be there.
Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean?
I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo. That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose.
That's really lovely motto. It looks like a real flying balloon.
I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas.
A green flying balloon? It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? Safe? That's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose.
It's bolted to the floor to preserve exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose.
I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important. Almost every piece of furniture is upside down!
Wait a minute. Was this room upside down or something? Even Mr. Sholmes' suit isn't ever in this much of a mess.
You're in a position to command on messes, Mr. Naruhodo.
But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se. Is that everything is... It's not messy in here per se. It's that everything is literally upside down.
But why?
After this, I'm gonna check this. There's a little metal plaque here, look! Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery.
It seems rather ironic, doesn't it?
But clearly Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. So what is this about? Is it just so that we knew that he was an important person before? Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point in fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? That is not gonna end well. That is not gonna end well at all. Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick sides. Miss Sato, what's the matter? It's bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in a large watch to me, but
Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What did you say?
A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Huh? You don't know nothing, do ya, Odo?
you haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina?
I invite you to consult the dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, so I confess it has a very similar appearance.
It's not?
Oh, well, thank goodness, but then what is it? I see, so that's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, or I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mrs. Sato.
Here we go. Well, a great detection coming.
Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the invented nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Trevor himself. But how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without a question, completely genuine.
Oh my god!
Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be my pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade.
Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway.
Oh, you deflected the inspection's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
You're too kind, my dear madam.
I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand there, just there, Mr. Sato. Oh, yes, I've been ready. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular.
The game is afoot. She's so excited.
It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. This bed, the table, the chair, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in this room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed.
Whoa! What is that?
The key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the air.
Wow, I love this deduction.
Or the gravity in this room was repaired and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the power gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction of my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity
Oh my god, I love this guy. pass this also for one more person. There it is.
Almost identical to one that featuring a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. It is a timing device that controls when the gravity the direction will switch. It was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the... God damn it.
Why is Sean such an idiot?
And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here was upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Trevor, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely the scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed.
Dogs.
Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim?
Indubitably. Oh.
The greatest clue we have to explain his action is above our heads. Yes. Was it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason here there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Trevor's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, except in the skyline, that is. Ah!
Whoa!
By inverting the gravity in here, Trevor was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Jones. If the gravity repulsor was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Trevor have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope?
What?
By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Trevor was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and flipped via the skylight!
What an idiot.
And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun.
No, that means that he's gonna activate a bomb.
This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle.
Doggy.
He's completely spellbound.
Mr. Jones?
There's just one thing that troubles me again. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean. I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more plausible than instantaneous kinesis.
But your whole deduction hinges on it!
Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, however improbable it may seem. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree?
One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had always come up with that exact phrasing. My original was, clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something like Mrs. Adel and me once.
Objection!
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, in lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Trevor had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, so I think you'll find the ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery facing this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. I must do it quickly before Enoch Grabber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Assumption, assumption, assumption. Amazing! Oh my god, Sholmes. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table, clamps, everything is upside down. Almost as if the ceiling before falling straight down on the floor. There it is. Gravity. Then he walks away. And then gravity is restored. And he said that the inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the gravity. The thing gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation, but the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mrs. Addo. Wouldn't you have eliminated the impossible? Whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. All the furniture in here is very conspicuously upside down, certainly. Yes, it does immediately put you in mind of some strange quirk of gravity, I admit. Could it be that a mini whirlwind passed through here, do you think? I'm not sure that's much more plausible than Mr. Sholmes' explanation. Oh dear. Saying the first thing that comes into your head isn't the way forward here, it seems. Look, Mrs. Addo! When everything seems to be upside down in here. This safe is conspicuously the right way up. Yes, that's true. But look more Ugh! I pressed too much. Have you noticed? But look more closely at the safe's feet. There's a lot of very large balls facing into the floor. Think before you speak, that's what you wanted to say, isn't it? I really put my phone in my mouth there. It certainly didn't say that. Well, well, I wasn't expected to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Oh, look at that! I know, that slender little blaze looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers aren't trapping. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me.
Take that!
Sorry, Sholmes. The upright base clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Open my word, Mr. Naruto, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes, trust me. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming slender base is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing that fits into the floor. And it's that section that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never invented at all! Inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss?
Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes.
But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally, there's an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he?
I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong.
Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason.
I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though.
Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. Okay, so where is it? We've already established that gravity wasn't actually reversing here, haven't we? In other words, this isn't an anti-gravity device at all.
Which makes me very curious to know what sort of device it is, but I think for now it's clear that we're looking for an answer elsewhere.
That's a coal burning heater, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's just not for hearing, you know. You can grill on it, bake on it, boil, and steam things with it. It serves all sorts of purposes.
That seems like having your cake and eating it too. Not unlike a heated kotatsu table with a narrow hot spot on Mick and Orange, a cat, and an elderly relative.
Oh, you mean it seems too much? Well, I suppose it does. But you realize only some of those things in your list are edible, don't you?
Yes. But he is very weird indeed. And there it is! Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair.
Oh yes, safe 432582.
Safe? As in safe and secure?
As in secure lockable box, I think.
Admittedly more likely.
Well, there's a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes.
So you mean this number would let us open it?
I wonder why it's running here, though.
Take that!
Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination.
Precisely! I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not?
Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noted that pickery number down on the inside cover of a book just in case.
That's it! Where people are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more insensible, I think.
And what pray happened next, Mr. Naruto? When the day of the draw came round, I'd forgotten which book had written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it.
That's it! Poor people are forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place.
I actually won the second prize, you know. I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my... Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe the occupant of this room needed to the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. That is a big jump in logic. Everything from here on now is gonna be new then. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer's friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there in the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can explain it, then how did those footprints get there? Yes, I feel as though this particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it all. Life was so much simpler in those Halcyon days when the gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those Halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes, observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into the situation in the first place. It looks like these are the only windows in the room. In other words, if you wanted to escape without using the door, these skylights would be the only way. Yes, that's true. But even so, and right next to the only escape route, we notice some telltale footprints. Nevertheless, as we've said many times now, gravity can't explain how they got there. But powerful springs in the soles of this man's shoes could. Have you been having strange dreams as well, like Mr. Sholmes? Balloon. This is a gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's helium that's keeping it up. A green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me? If you can see, there are footprints on this balloon too, look. Ah, yes. Surely that's a clue, isn't it? Though what it tells us, I'm not sure. A shoe? It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look! Oh yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling though? Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid. Is that really what is causing this? Because this is so confusing.
Take that!
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never to skylight at all, but the balloon!
But for what purpose?
A green balloon, That seems somewhat familiar, Tita. It was a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Guts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was a second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception.
You mean?
If we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there is a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it.
Something or absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Most probably, Trevor intended to tear a hole in the envelope by sealing it with his shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there were some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope.
Alright, I have to admit it, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground?
Which is much easier than said than done, I believe. And it could take us a very long time as well.
True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we?
Take that!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow?
This was found at the scene, in fact.
And in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Trevor.
If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time like as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Trevor has hidden inside that balloon?
Whoops! Whoa! Ah! What the? That's the professor. A waxwork?
Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is should tied and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock.
So we can see the face inside, that means.
Just a moment. This is the head of the waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh goodness!
I see you joined the dots, Miss Osato. Excellent!
Of course, a headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel's will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor.
Yes.
But why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel's and returning it since the death earlier today was none other than Enoch Trevor!
This is incredible! Professor Hervin's case and the waxwork abduction are... they're inextricably linked by Enoch Trevor's workshop.
Well...
see this. There's really nothing to examine in this thing. Okay.
Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect?
You mean Mr. Trevor?
As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man must still be here in the room. What? And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Trevor is right here, somewhere in this room? So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors?
Yes, of course.
Mr. Draven's hiding place must be the...
Personally, I still think he might have escaped via one of the skylights.
Did you hear what Mr. Sholmes said? The man must still be here in this room. I'm afraid your opinion might put you at loggerheads with the great detective.
Miss Osato, sometimes a man must stand up for what he believes in a fight.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll leave you to it. This looks like to be a cupboard for cups and saucers and the like.
An ingenious hiding place.
Oh, is it?
Well, when you say cupboard, you automatically think of cups and saucers, don't you? And the clever engineer knows that, so he knows you'd never look for him in there, so because he's not crockery.
But sadly, it does seem to be full of only crockery.
I mean, it's transparent, Naruhodo. The wardrobe. If you need to hide, there's no better place than a wardrobe. I stand firmly by that.
Ah, yes, you had some experience of that yourself a year ago, didn't you?
We'll find him there. Mark my words, he'll be curled up in a ball, trembling and hungry. In fact, my own hand is trembling just thinking about making the discovery.
Never mind, Mr. Naruhodo, he could be hiding somewhere else, you know.
Look at all that mess in front of the safe.
Yes, plans and accounting ledgers.
Almost as if somebody was in a hurry to empty the contents of the safe, in fact. What do you think it is, Naruhodo? Do you think it is a safe? Do you think that is a safe? Of course it is a safe.
Take that!
Before we gain access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Ooh, we got something. Yay! So people is asking me if I'm still streaming. Well, I guess that you guys could have just come in and seen me.
Which tells us that the engineer is still in the building at that point in time.
He was in fact searching for the combination of his safe.
And pressed for time, made no attempt to ride the furniture that he overturned in the process, from which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed.
Hi! Oh, whoa! You seem to have an objection! Can you present the evidence?
In summary, Mr. Enoch Trevor is at this moment inside the safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I am, Ghostopedia.
Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle.
Inside the safe. The G part, the second letter. Yeah, I remember, Lemur.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you?
By opening the safe, you mean?
What else?
Let's see, the combination was 1
435 432582.
I knew that! I didn't even get the first number right. Alright, here it goes. Hi, Enoch. You found... Oh, okay, so... You found me? What the heck was that? What the heck? That was terrifying! That was horrifying! Right then, sir. Mr. Undergrabber, I presume? Correct. You'd better start talking. You took Professor Herring with that bogus machine you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the—
Ouch! I hit myself on the table trying to imitate her poses.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the hot watchword from Madame Tussauds as well.
Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions. What the heck? How could I imitate this? Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate?
Your parcel?
The bomb! The bomb, guys! I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ha ha ha! I see. Don't silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then? He's terrifying!
No! Mr. Sholmes with only 7 seconds to spare!
That was too close for comfort. I got one foot in the grave already.
Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Mr. Sholmes' seductions can be completely life-altering, can they?
Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist! I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes.
So, what are you having here?
Still can't believe we were nearly blown up. What was that sideways glancinade of Mr. Nerudo?
I thought that deducing meaning from the movement of people's eyes was your specialty, Mr. Sholmes.
Never mind that now. Let's see what Mr. Grabber has to say for himself.
So I guess that everything over here has been analyzed? Yep. In one go. He's terrifying. It might surprise you to learn that I'm actually a lawyer from the Empire of Japan. I detest lawyers. They wield so-called special powers in an attempt to bring down our freedoms. Yes, let me be quite clear. I detest lawyers very much. Any chance two negatives make a positive? Mr. Rubber, look at this, please. Do you, have anything to say about it? Why is he so terrifying? Are these strange mechanical movements supposed to be some sort of an answer? I don't know if I want to watch at this guy too much. He's very terrifying, I have to say. Is this yours? Yeah, he's just gonna completely ignore everything. What about this? Yep. Oh, I have an idea. He's trophy. No, doesn't care. And he's so terrifying. Dear Lord. What kind of guy is this? What on earth happening here? You found me. Happy. No need to screw me down any further. Everything is here. Is precisely what it seems.
Yeah, well, we'll be giving it a through going over, don't you worry, Trevor.
What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop that I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt.
Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh! For some reason, I woke in fine fiddle today. No worse. Just tightly squeezed chips.
Clearly, I must have screwed those as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly, the rope was too short. So I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe.
And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably thought you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? Having first said this parcel thinking,
Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police.
Got a death wish, have you? I didn't ride behind attacking time bomb.
Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's especially designed a dynamite explosion with not leave a scratch on it.
so in fact, the safe was the only safe place.
Precisely.
But once you're climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again.
I invite you to look more closely. The safe is filled with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within.
Oh, so it is!
Hi, Paradox! How you doing tonight? Tonight?
Yeah, it's already night.
I've been streaming for a while now. I really like this game. I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. I am having the time of my life. The deduction that Sholmes just did was so fun. And Lord, the graphics were amazing.
Did you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up?
No. Isaac! That was unforeseen.
What do you mean?
Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. I calculated the time required for the trip to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse seemed here through a spanner in the works. It's so weird.
Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face besides the usual eyes, ears, lips, and mouth?
Gosh darn it! Why didn't you deactivate the bomb first, Jones?
I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on in here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Because Professor Hairpine's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition and the Waxworm model you stole, which this hand belongs to!
That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. But in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all,
That's enough!
oh whoa! How did I know it was gonna be a female voice? Okay.
What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Yes, well,
Dr. Side again.
the forensic investigation team are here.
And you know full well, this engineer is a key witness. Why aren't you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot! Leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, there's no way to greet an old acquaintance. Is it Dr. Scythe? Hello, Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe?
If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided.
I'm so happy that you're having fun as well. Wait, SM2. What game was that? I'm sorry, I'm not that good with initials for the games. Can you remind me of it? Just so that I can remember.
Get out!
Oh, Space Marine 2? Is it good? I don't think I've ever played that one before.
But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruto!
Yes? Whoa! Yes, I got another person here. Hello, Madengard. Are you trying to... Please don't kidnap my assistant this time, please. Okay, you have to explain to me what the game is about, Paradoxical, because that sounds like a very good... the fact that you're criticizing it so good, it's a good sign.
It would appear that our delightful, entertaining investigation have run their course from today. But Mr. Sholmes!
Oh my god! That lawyer dude thing is just one of the most... Let me try to do it.
I won't promise anything, lawyer dude! Leave us this place in the doctor's capable hands.
Kill annoying bugs first, then kill traitor second. So, yet another betrayal game? There have been a lot of those as of late, but the fact that you have to kill the bugs first is interesting. Like, oh, I imagine that one of the characters and players surely must be interrupting the tasks of the rest of the crew, right?
I said get out. Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson.
Understood. I'm very interested in seeing that in action later. You have to show it to me later, okay? Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for these lawyers and his companions, I'd never have found this place. The whole workshop would have been blown to bits. What's a time bomb setting here? And this lot disarmed.
Inspector!
Wow, he defended us. Something give me a chuckle, Hazard Rubber. So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. I have never been more terrified in my life at one scene in an Ace Attorney game. The corn, the blood cutting. God, please don't tell me that it's going to start ticking.
What Aria? That one? You mean?
No! No! No!
It was an hour later that we heard the news.
Of course I would like to. You know that I like to join from time to time, so I will be joining later. For now, I want to keep going on this one. I take a lot of times in order to make my next stream. I'm not consistent at all, and I have not spoiled myself on this game a lot because of this. Because I'm doing it like this. Sorry. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Hairbrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. My god. Yeah, that was completely unexpected. I thought that there was going to be an explosion in the room, not out there? That was terrifying. I did not expect this. To be quite honest, I did not expect it. Wait, we're back in court after all of that? I don't feel like we're ready to be in court. Oh my god.
Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings?
I hope so. I should be. Even I with nothing left to...
Good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Yeah, it's a good thing that I know that you're finally way ahead of me this time, so I know that I can keep going. Hey, Alex, how you doing? So, Alex, as you can tell, I'm streaming in English because the game is in English, but I know that you can understand me. Oh, Yakuza 0? Oh god, Yakuza is so good! I have only seen the first one to completion, and I was actually watching my friend Nayadric playing it, and he's one of my mods here. And we were at his place. It's such a fantastic game. It is such a fantastic story. So I started playing, he started playing Yakuza 0, and well, we just couldn't sit down for a long time in order to play it. You know, life gets moving a lot. Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today.
Yes, but try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but I...
My dear fellows, I must interject! Bye, Jones! Oh, you're still here, Mr. Jones? What's the matter? Surely you overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction, Sorry, I don't follow? Must I spell it out? I, the great detective Jones, the great detective of worldwide acclamation! I rose at some ungodly hour to be here now, first thing in the morning. A miracle, you must agree. To be quite fair, yeah. Yeah, after the last time he was in court, pretty much at any point, except at the end of the cases. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, pulled both cheeks, punched me, kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. How are you alive, man?
Oh my, Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have any hair to go that far. She's too nice.
I sense the spirits of our fellow scientists, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea.
I'm the one worthy of... the Gary Devs, that's a good point.
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory.
Sorry to cut in. Hey, of course it was Gregson. Oh, Inspector Gregson, good morning.
Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightful early hour?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression,
Dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? I don't know!
Poor Professor.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork? Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this fraud out of the archives. It's a professor, Adam.
Yeah, that's basically the main thing of the Ace Attorney sprite work. It's just the fact that everybody you can tell how they're feeling with a glance.
It's a professor's autopsy report.
That mass murderers? Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy?
He was found guilty in a close trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. He was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's only here.
I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Yes, much obliged, Crimson.
Us lowly lot at the jar are just doing what we can. In the shadow of the great detective Sholmes, of course.
That is a change. Is he finally getting warm to me? Well then, Professor Hervin, this is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last. I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
I suppose he'll be here today, will he? Rebel.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much!
Counsel and the defendant! The trial is about to resume! Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once!
Here we go! This is it then. The final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before actually, this strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Could it be? Are we actually going to see what I'm thinking that we're going to see? Typing. God. The mage is already going through all his cards.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby decline this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Hervin, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
Whoa! The prosecution is ready, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Ben Six has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
If I may, Lord Van Six.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceeding will see the complexity of this case rise considerably. If I thought that this game couldn't be any more extra! Oh my god! I therefore instructed my assistant to attend and ensure the smooth running of the trial. What is a man but a pile of contradictions? Now, how about you? Objection! And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it. Oh my god! The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else. But he's still suffering from amnesia. So there's really nothing we can do at the moment.
I know, but this is so very hard.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successful security engineer who disappeared from the scene of the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good. Very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearying.
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
My third scientist should feel the wrath of God if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence. Then settle on one. That's it. Isn't it?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. If all parties are ready to proceed, I begin, Lord Van Six.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage the super high. You didn't just make that joke, Alex. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed at the experimental stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was what? An explosion? This is an outrage.
Goodbye, evidence.
Yes, I heard this great news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens and the wreckage resulted to ashes in the flames.
I have here a photograph and print of the scene, taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine. Picture details. What is that thing on the middle? I'm gonna have to check it later.
Ah, yes, a terrible business.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
That is not clever.
The court will check this print as evidence, counsel.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a through its investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. To be fair, everybody has noticed that a lot of the Ace Attorney series changed after the Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton game. A lot of the characters were designed in a way that it's more Layton-y. A lot of mechanics are new here that are from that game, and the designs of the character, the music itself is also more orchestra, I guess you could say, and that has happened a lot ever since that game. I think that starting on Ace Attorney 5, it did have a lot of Layton charm added into it. Yeah, I totally adore this music, Zach. I love this music. I have it on repeat on my work and sometimes it helps me think much better. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw many meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the Kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity.
Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs.
However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain.
Or it was Accused himself who was operating the machine, and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection!
As Lord Ben 6 rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Assman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, Counsel, if you please.
The engineer Mr. Enoch Trevor and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Esman.
By the way, that's a pun of Otis Man.
So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defendant sends to expose the information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant.
Thank you, Counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Ben 6, summon your first witness, please.
At once, my lord.
The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Trevor, to the stand. State your name and occupation for the court.
Name, Enoch Trevor. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say.
Is that Black Monocle?
Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before?
Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself.
Your file indicates that you're currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a Quaxor model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Clear it from your mind. Jean before the mask, that's cool.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Trevor, who constructed the pass machine used in the experiment, or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance to the blueprints, but that's all.
Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
An amazing device if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
What?
Gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
But we already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection! You have established nothing of the sort! All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings
is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more. Why is he so much into proving that this happened? But...
We procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony. About the machine that you constructed for the purpose of demonstration at the Great Exhibition.
Understood. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Assman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and constructed the machine to his precise specification. It was no trick. In the whole show as a fraud, it would have required about the double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. You give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's the basic conjuring principle. That deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would it be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what by all accounts must have been an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Trevor.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government-run money through conjuring know-how.
Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it out ourselves.
Something's weird here. Oh, cat, mouse. Oh, okay. There. If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill.
He looks terrifying when he smiles like that. Up until that point, I didn't even know if he was evil or not. I thought he was just weird, but when he smiled like that for the first time, I was terrified, Zack. Absolutely terrified, because that smile just spelled death.
Though I may have sold the secret of some deceptive wiles to sniveling talented scientists in the past.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was
An unfortunate accident? Of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science.
Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, so I guess we can all agree that the body double is gonna be the Waxwork model.
Hold it!
So you were already acquainted with Mr. Asman himself? Not really. By chance I'd seen his name mentioned in the paper, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I took up my dolls and considered what they asked for.
So why did Mr. Asman approach you in particular then?
Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering.
Not to mention excellence in fraud.
Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given.
In other words, the Kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principle.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Harebrained certainly has a mind like no other. Providing with the blueprints for the machines, it was no trick.
It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however.
The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along.
But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think.
It's a possibility that we have to explore.
Unfortunately though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there?
God! It appears that the Kinesis machine was fitted with a time explosive device of some kind.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear.
He must have planned all this from the outset.
But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment could have been a trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required about a double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin?
Of course, that's it! Mr. Asman was a twin.
Objection!
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asman had no twin siblings. No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me. The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Syed absolutely ruled that out as a possibility. Wait a minute. The spells that you make ahead. It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. Fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact. So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looks identical to Mr. Asman then. Yes, I noticed that as well. As soon as he heard as soon as he heard Six completely call him out, he was like, yeah. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, no, nothing. Chicho, how you doing tonight? Having fun over here? Just the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. Oh my god, that's what we're going with today. Okay. Don't worry, this person is actually that weird.
Hold it!
It crashed headfirst, you say?
According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes.
Were you not there at the exhibition grounds of the day? ¿Te ibas a cambiar el nombre a Rolando Mota en Twitch o en dónde?
Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop.
Yet another one of your unique inventions was found at the scene.
Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower.
What a surprise!
I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it?
How would you have come by that information?
Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, their injuries were apparent on the victim's body.
Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by the screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant. And he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height. Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems. Do we know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly, no. Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken,
it's obvious that he fell from a considerable height.
I suppose that's hard to deny.
A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow.
Oops. He's certainly not very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other.
But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Hairpine's innocence.
Both Mr. Asman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. And seeing as the professor is an old friend of Little Van 6, what on earth must he be feeling towards Trevor? That's interesting. I forgot this part.
Hold it!
So you understood the science, did you? Not in the slide test. Right. As I've said a number of times, I am an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting many false problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example. But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principle it relies on, aren't you? I think that I have to use this for this particular guy. Because this is just so fitting. Very good point.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
The point is, the experiment resulted in an instantaneous time kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis. Okay, so it's obvious it's gonna be the 1, 2, there. Objection!
Objection!
What? That last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence. It is your task, counsel, to explain the somehow to the court, not the other way around. It just seems to jar her, don't you think? What I think is that this whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes. Perhaps I need to reconsider this. Okay, let me try to retread some ground here because this is... I thought that it was gonna be obvious, and I didn't get it right. Okay, so let's see. The victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. Left fingerprints? Can have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asman. Someone who looked identical. Yeah, there's something here, but I can't see it correctly. Wait a minute! Actually, I haven't stopped to read this at all. Wait. That's it? That's all of it? I'm wondering if we could actually... His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall and was stabbed in the chest. We also have this. I'm gonna try with this.
Objection!
Oh, it's not this, then... Are we actually going to say it? Not this. Not this. Wow, I'm stuck. That's very rare for me. Not this. The little kid was very funny, to be quite honest. You don't think... I'm gonna try this.
Objection!
Oh my god! Oh god. If I die here, I'm just gonna interrupt the stream now. Because this is embarrassing. Wait a minute. I wonder. Can I open this? There's a key here. This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you could remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know. It's starting to make me live it, actually.
Mr. Naruto, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right, sorry. Can I open this? Because I'm starting to believe that the guy is gonna be here. Is there something that helps me with the... I don't have anything that leads me back to the waxworks. God, what am I supposed to do here? I'm very stuck now. Yeah, it's not the lost cat though. Oh my god. Of course it was not here. Okay, I'm gonna try to check all of them again. You were acquainted, blah blah blah. By chance, no interest. Construct. Because I was something. Was construct a machine. You might say that. The way of thinking. I'm so stuck today.
Hold it!
Clearly you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. You're equipped to handle this. The question is, the machines with some trickery. Let's explore. It has been blown to Kingdom Come. Nothing left to explore, huh? Nothing left to the device either. Nothing left. Okay.
Hold it!
It crashed headfirst, you say? According to the many witness reports from those at that time, yes. Counts on the day. Unlikely. I reloaded my workshop. Our convention was at the scene. Well, it was a villain function all over by many months. They lived with my own eyes. Surprise! The victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, was it? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. Yes, screwdriver. Broken vertebra. I mean, yeah, everything here has been correct. And the science is not the problem. The problem is the fact that they are talking about him not having a twin. What can I do to prove that it's not the case? It's not this. Sorry guys, I've really lost this time. I'm actually confused because I really don't know where to go from here. Wait a minute. Oh my god, it's not even related to that.
Objection!
We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the Crystal Tower ourselves. I was so married into the whole twins idea that I didn't consider the possibility that the contradiction was in another place. Good played, game. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the Crystal Tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying? Actually, he looked more human there, so more like, what are you saying? That's the opposite of where they should be! That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the Crystal Tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. Ouch. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two birdcages in play that day, which were at some point switched during what was a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Forget that.
Good gracious, explain yourself, witness!
Well...
If we examine the fact, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw.
The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicate that it crashed head-tail first into the tower.
Objection!
But multiple witnesses report claim it fell head first. Birdcage materialized in the sky next to the balloon, flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level, which is approximately 18 meters. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the Crystal Tower in the ensuing deflagration. Witness report amid such cases are notoriously unreliable.
Objection!
But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection!
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. Hmm? A riveting science analysis of events from the prosecution there. But to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra actually. It wasn't quiet for long.
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lorben seeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here. Yes, then there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What? Seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Trevor, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth. Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically after all. Who are you, Emma Sky? I nearly had him there. The kinesis clearly took place because there's no one else 30 feet high from the gear for the birch kit to have fallen from. A terrible accident, I grant you. Oh. That is a more simple one.
Objection!
What the heck? I should press.
Hold it!
What do you mean? Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience. Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Asman on the experimenting stage, that's sure. And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere. The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. Zach, you're gonna be very disappointed in me. I'm at my last health. The difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell. And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the skies. No, I haven't. I should? Does this game not recover like the other ones, just in case? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god dang! Okay. Ergo. The victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the crystal tower. A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained it sounds increasingly possible. Oh yes, it's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritantly, yes! Let me check something. Okay. So let's say that the birdcage fell to the ground from where the experiment happened. I don't know exactly how to prove this. Let me check. Okay, not here. Do I have any more details about this? Where can I point point out the fact that it fell from 30 feet, or something similar. I mean, I thought it was gonna be this. But what, is it gonna be the map? He's gonna take the risk.
Objection!
It is! This is a diagram of the experimentation station and its surroundings. Yeah, that's why I couldn't figure it out, because the drawing is not in the picture. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there's one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No! Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel. Yes, my lord. Of course. It will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram. Oh my god, really? The alternative location from which the birdcage could possibly have fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Take that!
The place I'm referring to is here! But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with. Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself. Go on, counsel. It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the grass side. When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. Yep. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. Once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two!
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance on its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. That's why I presented that picture, guys! Good lord! The metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone! Yes, most likely blown away by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated, immediately! Mr. Drever, it was you who built the Kinesis machine. Which means that it was you who built the two birdcages that were used to carry out this deception! Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference. Because it's the construction of this machine that matters. A machine designed to take Mr. Asman's life. Lay the blame firmly at the Professor's door. Something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Nanook Drever! He glitches so weird.
Objection!
God damn! That is just so dumb! If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions, that is not the reason you use all of this. The
prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water. On 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the Kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that.
I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
In other words, Mr. River had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Objection!
But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow. That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. The second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? No reason to do so. Motive? I have to think of everything myself. I have here a contract provided by the witness.
What contract is this, Lord 6?
The contract into which Mr. Trevor entered with the victim, Mr. Asman. It reads, Mr. Trevor is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income.
30%. Certainly very favorable contractual conditions. There was one very important provision bolted into the clause.
What provision? Mr. Trevor may only uphold this right in condition that both contracting parties are alive.
In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Trevor having done as you suggest is nil.
It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide off the mark. Lord 6, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
It's true. Okay, now let's see the contractor. The investor, Mr. Adi Asman, hereby enters the contract with the provider, Mr. Enoch Trevor, to fund labor and materials for the construction of a super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Mr. Trevor is to receive 30% of all remuneration from government grants or other income. Mr. Trevor may only uphold this right on condition that both contracted parties are alive. Why is Airbrain not included in this? If Trevor had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one on the Crystal Tower, he could have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been. There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. There were 2 birdcages. The prosecution is unable to deny that. So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter set this record straight, I think. It is impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
At the beginning of this trial, we believe that there was only one birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The stage demonstration was constructed and set up entirely by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you have no hand in the events that transpire. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, points to the fact that someone else was involved. Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice!
Objection!
An accomplice now! Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come. Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes. These accusations turn out to be false. Make no mistake! The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is a culprit here. I'm gonna say just in case. You know, the Ace Attorney tradition of saving like crazy. One way or another though, I have to make my position clear. As a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice? Or not? Yes. The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber accomplice. Somehow the two briefcases must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet, according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel,
My lord?
I've received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. Tell your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
Okay. Let's play the elimination game. It was not ODS man because he didn't like me. There's two people that I can think of it. If I had to... Okay, so there's an inconsistency. Both people are supposed to be the same. Oh, screw it.
Take that!
The name of the person in question is...
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend?
Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that. Because I'm afraid, after all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves! Could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me. I knew it! I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Miss Osaru. The enemy always appears larger than life. You appear exactly the same to the enemy. So, I knew it was her because this particular contradiction is very similar to another contradiction in another case. Not right now, not in this series, not in this year, and not in the main Phoenix Wright series. I feel like this is a contradiction that dates back, at least in my mind, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2. And I think the coroner was a fool. The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy. Alright then,
Here goes. You've got us waiting long enough. Your answer, console, now! The person who colluded with Mr. Trevor in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Curtis Scythe!
What in the place are you talking about, Dr. Scythe? The head of the forensics investigation team, and the coroner who had conducted the autopsy of the victim.
We know there were two Burkishes, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Take care, Paradoxical. Thank you so long for visiting my channel. Oh, wait. Do I have one like that? No, I don't have one like that, but let's just use a generic app. Thank you so much for visiting. Thank you so much for visiting my stream. Yahoo! I hope you had fun with that little joke. The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. Thank you, Paradoxical. I like the fact that people are actually watching me today. I normally have like 1 or 2 viewers. One of them is Star-Lord, and he's currently just lurking. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify. Oh god, that jury is so fun.
You got nerve, lad! Standing up there, dragging the judge's name through the smut!
I didn't mean to.
You know the woman very well. There's no better than room worker there. How dare you call her a criminal!
Good night, Paradoxical.
My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another great problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A great problem?
Oh my word!
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger?
What?
Certainly, if the Burkish containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, Cage must also have contained a body. And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman.
That's true. If my argument is that there were two Burkishes, then there must... Take care, Zach. I think that I'm just going to bring her into courtroom and call it a night. There must have been also one person inside each. But I don't know if I got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? I think I can name someone. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concern. Revealing the identity of the the identity of the person who acted as Mr. Asman's double.
Be my guest, give us a name.
Body Double and the Birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. Who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! In place of Mr. Asman and the second Birdcage was...
I screwed myself over. Yeah, I screwed myself over. Time to game over. Wouldn't you agree? I would not. Wouldn't anyone?
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo.
You think you're turning your back on me, Mr. Sato? You must really be wide off the mark. You have a head, isn't it? Thank you, Council. That will do. But, my lord, wait! The physicist process of establishing an argument, all further analysis is necessary, I feel. As such, I shall be requesting the final decisions of the members of the jury. In an order to serve, my lord, I will know exactly what the thing is.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty!
Oh, whoa!
Kill me.
Yeah, I screwed up badly. You know, this guilty hurts more than the one in the original series because everybody tells you that you're guilty 7 times. I'm gonna retry from this scene, but I'm gonna call it a night. Just like I said. That is embarrassing. I normally this normally doesn't happen to me, so I'm very embarrassed. Okay, so next time I'm gonna start by saying that the wax model is the substitute, but I think that in that case I'm gonna have to present evidence instead. But for now, I'm happy with what we did and how much we advanced. I think I can change to my face cam. That is. This was very fun, and I'm very happy that a lot of you guys had fun. So, guys, I really cannot lie. I'm very glad that you guys came and saw me today. It was a lot of fun. So for now, I'm gonna call it a night, like I said. I'll try to pick it up next time. As you know, I'm not consistent with the streams, but I will make sure to keep posting everywhere that I am streaming. For now, have fun everybody. Take care. I'll see you next time. Got to change my message. Oops. Oh, and I think that I should make a raid. How about we raid? Wow, there's literally no one that I can think of. Let's just send them to Robolao. See you later, guys. Good night.